So, Shannon, how much will the Patriots regret losing Tom Brady?
It all depends on what do you mean by Patriots. Do you mean Patriots fans or Coach Belichick? Because I can assure you Coach Belichick has no regret whatsoever. That's just the way he's wired, Skip. He understands that when you make moves like this, there's a chance that that move comes back to bite you. He had to know, even though he thought he could go on and move forward without Tom, he had to know there would be growing pains. He had no idea that Cam Newton was going to be available when he made his decision. He based his decision on, I guess, maybe use analytics, but I don't think Coach Belichick is much analytics. It's his gut feel. And Coach Belichick has been in the NFL for 40 years, and he says, I would rather move on a year too early as opposed to a year too late. And so he just felt that the best time to make this move was now. Yesterday, Tom Brady threw the ball better than I had seen him throw the ball in a year and a half, maybe even 2 years. He was in complete command. And the thing that I loved about what he did yesterday, every time the Raiders made a mistake, he made them pay the ultimate price. And that's what the really good ones do. Skip, when Aaron Rodgers makes you jump offside, he's just not trying to throw a little quick out. He's trying to get the ball over your head and get a touchdown. Well, you got a 5'9" guy guarding a 6'6" guy? Okay.
Wait, how did Aaron Rodgers get in this discussion?
No, I'm saying that Tom made the Raiders pay the ultimate price. He catch the guy Lawson, I think it's Lawson, looking in the backfield. He's playing the sticks. Well, they just tried to get in field goal range. Tom Brady said, no, I'm not. Oh, you squatting? I'm going to throw the ball over your head. That's the rule of thumb.
Little Scotty Miller.
I guess they keep They better stop underestimating these white guys. These white guys that play receiver can actually run.
Who can run 4.3.
So that was the thing, Skip. I think the Patriots fans, well, all of a sudden they're not Patriots fans anymore, Skip. They're Tom Brady fans. Because when I said it was all about Brady, they're like, no, I've been a Patriot fan since '68. I've been a Patriot fan, Steve Grogan and Matt Cavanaugh, yada, yada, yada. Now all of a sudden, I see all those fans that I used to see with Patriots jersey on, they got 12 Buccaneer jerseys on. So I do believe the fans, of course, it's not going to be the same for them because every year when he was with the Patriots, they were a Super Bowl favorite. Now that's not going to be the case. So the question was, do the Patriots miss him? Coach Belichick doesn't, but I believe the fans and of some of those guys in that locker room, they absolutely miss him because they're not used to having this many losses. Forget it this soon in a season. They've got more losses right now, Skip, than they probably had in any season win in the last 4 or 5 years because this is not what they're used to.
That is correct. Just me, but I believe that in even Coach Belichick's heart of hearts, he is seriously regretting pushing Tom Brady out the back door in New England because I think he now sees the handwriting on the wall for the rest of this season for the New England Patriots. I see 2 games they should win against the woeful Jets. Other than those 2 games, I'm not sure they'll win another one. Surely just because he's Bill Belichick, he can win one other game. But they're now 2-4. And if they only win, let's say, 3 more games, that gets them to 5. That's going to be a humiliating season for Coach Belichick.
Yes.
Yesterday, of course, as we just heard, was the worst home loss in the Belichick era. And after a sensational start for Cam Newton, I don't know exactly what's happened. We're going to talk to Michael Vick about this in a few minutes. Cam has lost his way.
He doesn't look the same since COVID diagnosis.
That's correct, but he's gone 5 straight games in which his stats have fallen precipitously. And now over the last 2 games, post-COVID diagnosis, he's got 0 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, and 5 times he has been sacked. And they had no chance yesterday at home against a quarterback that Belichick basically gave away, and Jimmy G, to Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers for a second-round pick. And I'm not saying Jimmy G is the answer or would have been the answer in New England, but that was injury upon insult, actually, because they had to watch, the Patriot fans had to watch Jimmy G shred them. It was actually the run game that shredded them because they got run off the field by 2 backup running backs.
Back up to the backup.
Back up to the backup. They had the backup for a while, then Jeff Wilson got hurt, and then we got the backup to the backup, and he was running wild on what's left of now the Patriots and Bill Belichick's defense. Meanwhile, Out in Las Vegas. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Tom Brady has officially entered the MVP race in the National Football League. It was one of those days and a night in which Russell Wilson threw 3 interceptions. We're going to talk about that in a few.
2 horrible.
Yeah, 2 of them were just horrible. So he took a step back and lost to Kyler Murray, who probably took a step forward, and maybe he's about to enter in the MVP race. Your man, my homeboy, went to Denver yesterday and played just average football, had a QBR of 53, and they went 0 for 8 on third down, did the Kansas City Chiefs with all those weapons. And your man, Aaron Rodgers, we know just a week ago at Tampa Bay, which I call Tampa Bay now, stunk it up with 2 near pick sixes and almost 4 interceptions and got blown off the field 38-10. He redeemed himself a little bit yesterday at Houston. We're also going to talk about that in a few minutes. But right now, I just want to talk about the masterpiece that Brady put on yesterday and has continued to put on since he finally started to figure out the new Bruce Arians system. Obviously, with no preseason games and mostly virtual preseason, it took him 2 or 3 games to start to get the hang of a whole new terminology and system. And both of his Pro Bowl receivers, obviously Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, have been hurt on and off through the first 3 to 4 games. Mike Evans still looks a little bit hurt. He's gimpy on a bad ankle, but certainly in the debacle that they had at Chicago, as Bruce Arians said yesterday, I had him out there on one leg, and I didn't not have Chris Godwin, which is why we decided to plunge and take a risk on Antonio Brown. Another topic we're going to discuss in just a few minutes. But
So
now,
COVID policy, huh?
Yes, there you go. Tom Brady, over his last 5 games, is now 15 touchdowns to 1 interception. Is that good? That's pretty great. And yesterday, all he did was throw 4 touchdown passes, again, to 4 different receivers. And he also had a quarterback sneak touchdown. So that's the first time in his career he's thrown 4 touchdown passes with a rushing touchdown. And the quarterback sneak, again, qualifies Tom Brady as the greatest quarterback sneaker I have ever seen. And it's not even close because he just doesn't miss with the quarterback sneak. And you would think of a guy who's kind of soft and not very mobile, but help me out. Have you ever seen somebody who can pick a hole better and burrow better with more guts and courage than Brady does?
He's unbelievable.
He is unbelievable. That's his best play, actually, is the quarterback sneak. It is automatic.
Because, Skip, I think what you don't realize, because one minute he'll go over the top, and then the next minute he'll burrow to the left, burrow to the right. So it's really hard to get a key on what actually he's going to do.
And yesterday, his 4th touchdown pass put him 1 ahead of Drew Brees. They're going to seesaw back and forth all year for the all-time touchdown pass lead.
Right.
So, once again, there are no turnovers. And once again, he's 7 of 12 on third down, 5 of 6 in the red zone. They are starting to cook. They're getting a little healthier at receiver. And yet, the defense is rising and shining, too, because Devin White is starting to make a case for Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he's in there,
everywhere.
He and Myles Garrett. For me, if I had a vote,
Myles Garrett probably has a leg up. But I'm just saying, every time I turn on my TV, he just jumps off my screen.
Both of them. Levante David, you can't run the screen on him because he's chasing everything down.
Yep. So Devin White had 11 tackles and 3 sacks yesterday, and Levante David had 8 tackles and was second on the list. That's hard. It's hard to beat, man. When Brady is that hot and starting to click with, remember that guy Gronkowski?
Right.
Because I thought that early throw, remember, they fell down 7-0 to Derek Carr. And I'm going to remind everybody that the Raiders were coming off a bye week, and the previous game was at Kansas City, and they outgunned my homeboy 40-32. So they were flying high. So this was pretty high degree of difficulty at Las Vegas. I realize there are no fans in the stands, and that probably hurt the home team. But the point was, the visitors fall behind 7-0, and then Brady takes them on a 77-yard, 10-play drive to tie the score. And the key play is 3rd and 5 at the Las Vegas 44. And if we could see the throw to Gronkowski, this was early, and this is to Gronkowski for 26 yards. That's a rifle shot. Okay, that looked like good old days, and he had to come back in, obviously, and recover his own fumble, which was smart. And they go down and score on the quarterback sneak that we just talked about. And then He comes right back. They're down 10-7. They go 85-8, and he hits Gronkowski for another 26 yards and for the touchdown. So all of a sudden, he is starting to click and cook with Gronkowski. And then if we could see that's the one to Gronkowski. Right. That's the 26-yarder, right, which was pretty sweet. That'll work. Almost got him killed again, but that's okay. And then that's the little fade route to Gronk. And that's like candy from a baby,
you
right?
You got a 6'5" guy on a 5'9" guy.
Yep, okay. And there we go again. And finally, at the end of the half, to your point, he decides, no, I'm not going to sit on a field goal here. And he threw what was called the farthest touchdown pass that he has thrown in 5 yards. The ball traveled about 55 yards in the air. If we could see the one to little Scotty Miller into the corner of the end zone. This is right at the end of the half when you thought, oh, they're just going to sit for a field goal. Nope. That is dropping a dime. That was perfect. A big time.
You can't throw it any better than that.
And if we could hear the commentary of our man Mark Schlereth, who was doing the game for Fox, and then followed by some commentary from Howie Long right after the game about the Brady doubters. Thank you. I've been trying to tell you that for the last, what are we up to, 7 weeks?
But here's the thing. I heard none of that after week 1. I didn't hear anybody come out there and says, I take umbrage to Tom Brady's ability to spin the ball. I heard no one say it. After week 1 in New Orleans, I heard no one say that on our network or any one other network. Nobody said what they're saying now. So it's easy to say after five touchdown days, Skip, it's easy to say that. Now, Tom has been unbelievable. I believe, Skip, they have allowed him to incorporate because this is not BA offense. If you look at Gronk with those over routes, if you look at Scotty Miller with the over route, that's not really what they do. They are a vertical team. But you're seeing, and they didn't run the ball particularly well yesterday, but they ran it well enough that when he faked the ball in Roe Jones or Fournette's belly, those linebackers had to come up, and then you had Miller on the over behind him. You had Gronk on the over behind him. So if you can't get pressure on Skip, if you look at the throw that he threw, you see how clean that pocket was? If you can't pressure these, Skip, they're too good now. The guys are too good. He's too good. He's already historically great. Even at the age of 43, if you do not pressure him like he got pressured against New Orleans, like he got pressured against Chicago, and you let him just have a clean pocket, he'll pick you apart. And most of them will.
By the way, we just showed it, but did you see the rollout to Godwin for the touchdown? Now, that's 43 years old.
They didn't know you could do it because you're not anticipating. We know he can throw the ball from the pocket clean, but he moved. They put him on a move.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm not saying, he's glacially slow.
Yeah.
We get that. But I thought he looked fairly athletic and thrown on the run and threw a dart.
That was that and the throw to Scotty Miller at the end of the half. Those were his two best impressive throws because we're not used to seeing him throw the ball on the move and throw the ball with that type of velocity. That ball had something on it, Skip.
Okay, so to our man Stink, as we call Schlereth,
yep,
to his point, are you ready to say you were wrong about loss of arm talent? I told you, no loss of velocity. I see the same Brady I've always seen.
Well, Skip, I think the thing for me is that it's hard. Well, if I'm just critiquing him like off of yesterday's game when everything is clean, well, see, you understand that if you look at Rodgers yesterday and then look at Rodgers the week before when they had pressure on him and then look at him yesterday. It's a totally different ball game. These guys have gotten too good now if you don't pressure them.
But my point about Brady is that's always been Brady. When the Ravens could get pressure on him in AFC Championship games, even at New England, he had a hard time because they all have a hard time with that kind of pressure. When Denver could get heat on him at Denver in the AFC Championship game, he had a long, hard game.
Well, Skip, I think a couple of those throws you and I could make. If there's no one going to be within 5 feet of the guy, I mean, that throw to Scotty Miller, Skip. I'm like, did anybody?
I'll tell you this. I couldn't have made that one.
No, we couldn't have made that. We'd have felt very comfortable knowing that we're not going to get hit. We probably could have dropped it in the bucket like he could. But look at this, Skip. Look at this protection.
He had to step up through it.
But it's like they rushed 3 and dropped. These great quarterbacks, Skip. They're not going to settle for the field goal because the field goal isn't automatic. Guys miss too many field goals. It used to be, Skip, back in the day, 30-yard field goals were gimmies. There are no more gimmies now.
So guess what? Through, what are they up to now? 7 games.
7 games.
The Tampa Bay used to be the Buccaneers, have a grand total of 7 turnovers. Through 7 games last year, they had 17 turnovers with Jameis at the controls.
Right.
And I remain a Jameis fan, big arm. He's a classic no risk it, no biscuit thrower.
Right.
He's going to try. He's going to throw home runs.
Right.
Sometimes he will. Sometimes he'll throw it to you. But think of that. 7 turnovers through 7 games, 17 last year. They were a -5 in turnovers at this point last year. They're a +5 now. Help me out. What's the difference?
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be the difference in
wins and losses.
5 and 2,
yes,
right?
Because, and like you said, I mean, if you can be plus in the turnover margin, Skip, and the way the defense is playing now, I believe you can get, you got opportunities on the back end because I don't think they're that great, but are you going to have time? That's the question, because they can generate a rush with 4. Sue and Shaq Barrett and JPP. Now they got McClendon, and they blitz the linebacker more, the middle backer, White, more than anybody that I know.
Yep.
And so now they're starting to get home. So you got some plays. You can make some plays. And then Aguilar started off the grab. I was like, man, if you were playing like this, you would still be in Philly. And then he resorted back to being Aguilar, dropped 2 passes. That one really would have put him right there and touchdown, put him at like the 2-yard line, but he dropped it. But give Tom Brady credit, Skip. Yesterday was as good as I've seen him in a couple of years. The way he threw the ball, and they're allowing him. I'm seeing more of what he did in New England than more of what I purely saw from Jameis and Bruce Arians in the offense when he had Carson Palmer, when he had Ben later on Ben Roethlisberger.
Okay. What did I tell you all last year? New England was dead last in the league, the receivers in separation. Same things are happening to Cam. That's why I feel sorry for Cam. That's why I believe last night Tom Brady on the team plane was just shaking his head saying, I know exactly how Cam feels.
Yes.
Because yesterday at New England, Julian Edelman, broken down shell of himself, caught 1 ball. N'Keal Harry, who I had high hopes for, who has not lived up, caught 1 ball for 6 yards. Little James White, who used to be Brady's favorite go-to in the clutch receiver, caught 1 ball for 3 yards. Demiris Bird, who they added as the extra receiver, he's like the 5th receiver from Arizona last year. He caught 1 ball yesterday. It's just not good enough. So now there's reports that Belichick will go out to the trade deadline and add a receiver. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? He did that last year.
Are you going to add a 25-year-old Jerry Rice? I mean, what you going to add, Skip?
But he went and got Mohamed Sanu a year ago and gave up a 2nd-round pick, which is quite a lot of draft.
That's a lot of draft capital for a guy that age.
Okay.
But, Skip, another thing that's hurting the Patriots, defensively, they're not that good anymore.
Not that good anymore.
I mean, they ran the ball down their throat. And what helped them last year, Skip, is that, and I said, look, they had a soft schedule early, and the defense was overvalued. And then all of a sudden, when they couldn't hold a team to like 17 or fewer points, they lost. I'm looking at this defense, I'm like, what happened?
Well, is Bill Belichick getting exposed?
Well,
maybe he wasn't the genius everybody thought.
Some of the guys, Hightower and Chung, and some of the guys, they opted out. 10 guys, I think, opted out.
Yep.
But they're not this. Look, I don't think we expected them to be the same team. We thought there would be some growing pains. But even I didn't think they would look like this. Struggle, yes. But look like this and struggling, Skip? I didn't see this.
So Cam got benched later in the game for Jarrett Stidham. Now what do they do? Belichick said, oh, absolutely, we're going forward with Cam. Cam may be shaking his head saying, I don't know how much more of this I want.
I don't know if I want to go forward with you guys.
Yep.
But Skip, this is what it is. I mean, it's not like he had a choice. This was the only team that really called. And, you know, when you're a quarterback, Skip, you know, I'm dependent on guys being able to make plays. Who can he go out there and say, okay, go get open?
Well, I did pick the Buccaneers to be the best team in the NFC and get to the Super Bowl, and I think right now they're playing at the top of the NFC. They look like the best team. Are you willing to buy that?
They look like one of them. I'm still not. I still think Green Bay is right there. Seattle, but the defense concerns me. And I think with the Saints, you know, what's going to happen with Mike Thomas? Are they going to get Samuels? Because they won a game yesterday without their 2 top receivers.
Did. Highly impressive.
So give them credit for that.
I do.
But I believe it's a 3-4. It's a 3-team right. They're right there. All of them are right there.
I like the way Tampa Bay is playing.
Who y'all got next week? I know you know.
I should know this, but I don't off the top of my head. New Orleans is pretty soon at home.
I know.
Yeah. Are they the
New
next
Orleans
one?
plays Chicago, then they play y'all. New Orleans plays Chicago next week, and then
Yeah.
they play you guys the following week.
Got it.
Yeah, we got a little case to do coming on that one.
Okay.
Oh, Drew Brees.
I'm ready.
Oh, Drew Brees getting back.
Yep. I'm good with that one.
The Bucs do face the Giants next. So
Who faced the Giants? Hold on. Who faced the Giants?
Okay, the Bucs do, Shannon.
Oh, man, they need to call that one off.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.